What it do, fellas? Welcome back, people out there. Trash talking with the old heads. We back. Another episode. We up in here. Of course, I'm your host, Dante. Got my partners with me still. Greg C. What's happening, bro?
Yo, 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 yo. No excuses. Play like a champion.
And my
How
boy
y'all doing out there?
JW. Jerry Wren. What's happening, bro?
What's happening, brothers? Why play
I
like a
can't call it.
champion when you can be a champion?
Well, I know that
The
ain't a
home.
Florida Gator.
Don't rub the floor.
The champions of the home mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Yeah, champions.
You know, those are participation trophies, sir. Don't.
Man,
Champions.
I still can't believe that's a real bowl.
Yeah,
Champions.
Anything. If you playing anything that say Gasparilla, I don't even know what the hell type of company Gasparilla
Bruh,
is.
I've been saying, what the hell is a Gasparilla?
What did Bama do in their bowl game? What did Florida State do in their bowl game? Okay, all right, I thought so.
Y'all still trash. Y'all still suck.
And I'm thinking we would have turned that one down.
Yeah.
You only funky as your last hit, baby. You only funky as your last hit.
Y'all ain't had no hit.
Hey.
That win don't count. They weren't even playing.
Right, don't even matter. Hey, we got a lot to get to though.
Build a team.
Big wild card weekend, just NFL just went down. Some surprises. A lot of blowouts. But hey, let's start last night. You know where we got to start.
Before we get into that.
Hey, give it to us, G.
Before we get into that, we need y'all to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to get this thing up to about 100,000 subscribers. That's our goal.
100,000 million subscribers.
We need all of them. You know what I'm saying? We trying to inch on up the subscriber list. We need views. We need likes. We need comments.
Please check us out.
And like we said, man, we not journalists. We not professionals. We are sports fans who love sports. And we talk the shit the way we want to talk it. You know what I'm saying? So we're not journalists. We don't care nothing about it.
We say what the hell we want to say.
Exactly.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Hey, you forgot my boy back there in the corner, though.
Soldier Boy, what it is.
You forgot your boy. Soldier Boy, what's happening? Say what's happening to the people, Soldier Boy. He ain't in a talkative mood this morning. It's early as hell. He don't feel like talking. You know what I'm saying? Shit. He just finished the shift, so he don't feel like talking. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
it's too early for that bullshit.
Too early for that bullshit. But we got to start last night in I was about to say in LA, but in Arizona. And still, pumpkin watch is in full effect as far as I'm concerned. The Rams pulled it out, you know what I'm saying? Last night, defense showed up for the Rams, but I'm not sure that's the story of the game, brothers. Sam Darnold. Did we watch him turn into a pumpkin last night, bro? Or is he still the answer going forward for the Vikings, Greg?
The pumpkin has been activated. The glass slipper has fallen off Cinderella's foot, and Sam Darnold is who we thought he was. He talk about fumbling the bag, man. And remember we had this conversation a few weeks ago, and I told y'all guys, do not pay him. We've seen what we've seen from Sam Darnold before, right? We've seen it. We've seen it a couple stops. We've seen it in New York, the Jets. We've seen it with the Patriots. We didn't see it in San Francisco too much, but hey, in mop-up duty, he didn't look too bad. And all year long, the Vikings were one of the top seeds when it came to, I didn't say seeds, but one of the top teams when it came to record. And
right.
Hesitant to put them in that top 5 for a reason, right? All year, we finally all just said, "Damn, it's been all season that pumpkin ain't turned." Well,
right.
Just we thought sooner or later that pumpkin would show up, and unfortunately for Viking fans, y'all got a glimpse of the last 2 games of what people have been seeing from Sam Darnold for the last 5 years. He ain't that. And yeah, even if he had made it to the Super Bowl, that's my stance. This year, I'm still franchise tagging him. It's the state of the NFL right now. We're supercharging quarterbacks off of 1 year of excellent performance. Here's looking at you, Jordan Love. Here's looking at you, CJ Stroud, and Justin Herbert. We'll talk about you later. They're about to do the same thing with Bo Nix. We got to see a body of work before we decide what type of quarterback this guy is. A body of work, not 1 year.
Yeah,
Trash.
you agree?
Yeah. Man, fumbling the bag is prophetic. Cinderella shoe slipper, that's prophetic. Right on the money. But Sammy Pumpkinseed is not the guy. He's not the guy. To pick up where Greg left off when we were talking last night, I probably wouldn't even franchise him.
Right.
Why not?
You're looking at 41 million if you franchise.
Yeah, I would just, and I mean, who knows what they're gonna do? They probably will keep him, but I would go with the young fella. I would definitely go with him, and then I would just use that money to get all the other pieces that's needed. He held the ball. He was a deer in headlights all night long. He held the ball too long. They say if the ball is still in the quarterback's hand after 4 or 5 seconds, it's the quarterback's fault. You hear the pass. The former quarterbacks of the NFL say that all the time, and that's what he was doing. He was not getting rid of the ball. I guess he was seeing ghosts again. You know, that's something we've heard about him in the past, and it didn't look good. He wasn't even able to make the throws out into the flats. Through picks, he was bad. He was bad, and then the defense didn't show up for Minnesota. The defense was not out there. I picked the Rams to win, but that was more so going on experience by the Rams. You know, they won a Super Bowl. They still have the same quarterback. A lot of people would say that Stafford, even at this age, is just a better quarterback than Darnold. And we just have to leave it up to, 1 year does not a career make, So, yeah, the pumpkin in full effect last night. Awful.
Yeah, I guess I have to make that 3 for 3, man. I wanted to give him, the benefit of the doubt because most of the year, like you and Greg were saying, he was pretty good most of the year. But I disagree with you on. I would franchise him, but I would franchise him to trade him. You don't let assets go out the door for nothing. Somebody will pay him off of this year. I would get something for him. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it would probably be a franchise and trade kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with you. I'm going with the young boy next year. The young boy with a lot more talent around him. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring in 2 or 3 pieces on defense, maybe. Couple people, maybe a piece here or there on offense, on offensive line or something, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going with the young boy too, you know what I'm saying? I'm with Greg. I've seen enough, you know what I'm saying?
Can you trade the franchise? I thought the
Yeah.
franchise tag meant you had to keep him.
Nah, you can franchise and trade, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably what I would do, you know what I'm saying? Do it that way, because I'm not letting them out the door for nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then some other team would probably work out a long-term deal with him, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be the one to pay him if I'm in the Vikings situation where I just drafted the young boy last year. So if you believe that much in him to take, I forget what pick they took him with. I think it might have been 9, maybe.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking him high, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he had them in 3rd and long all game.
And then those sacks, he just kept taking sack after. I'm like, man, just throw the ball away, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely, like you said, a deer in headlight kind of situation, man. It's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying, for a 14-win team to go out like that, you know what I'm saying, because your QB turned back into the Jets, Sam Darnold.
And then they had no urgency down 18. They had no urgency at
Still
all.
running the ball. I think he shook the coach with a bad play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The coach threw in the towel too with that play call, and they had no urgency. They weren't in a hurry up.
Yeah, he even
until
mentioned
after he made that
the guy on
the
the
play to the
telecast
tight
even
end.
mentioned it. Yeah, he was even like, "Why are you still running the ball?" You know what I'm saying? You need points. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it made no sense. I think his bad play affected the coach too. The coach was just like he could see it. You know what I'm saying? In his face, like my QB just don't have it. You know, he just didn't have anybody to go to. I think if he did, he might have. I think if the Rook had been there, he probably would have gone to him in that game. It was that bad to me. This numbers ended up looking okay. You know what I'm saying? Because of the garbage time kind of stuff. But yeah, nah, Sam Darnold blew that, man, all the way around.
We'll have to look at some film session to kind of break down like how bad he played. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing we can't see just watching the telecast is where receivers getting open. Did he have? And I know you kind of said, he had some plays where he was open, but then he also had, some plays when people weren't there.
Yeah,
What I
but
saw
it's a decision
parts
not to throw the ball the way, though. Like he had plenty of time, and though even if they're not open, you don't have to take the
take the
15-yard
sack.
sack. Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
what
they
was
were
frustrating the
getting pressure
coach.
on him early too on some of those sacks. Some of the
Oh
sacks
yeah,
that
yeah, no doubt. But I'm talking about the ones that got him in, like Jerry said, 3rd and 20. Well, you could tell the coach was like, even they saw they showed the coach, he was like, throw it away. You know what I'm saying? The coach was on the sideline mouthing, just throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, why you holding the ball? If there's nothing there, just throw it away and play the
Yeah,
35. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's something you have to. That's something you appreciate when you see a quarterback play like that. You appreciate that from the greats, the ones that keep that clock ticking in their head and down a distance and throw the ball away, get it to the
yeah,
sideline. You know what I'm saying? You
right.
miss that. You miss that.
Part of the series that I did see, I think they had overturned that fumble from the tight end, right? They was in field goal range and driving. And on the second down, you know what I'm saying, he got sacked. Third down, I'm saying to myself, hey, the coach needs to, because it looked like the Rams was all over the place. They was playing with their hair on fire, which is, and if y'all remember, we selected the game, and I initially said that the Rams was going to win that game. Then when I found out they had changed it to the Arizona venue, I was like, well, that might be a bit too much for them to overcome. And then right before the game, I just was like, well, hold on, man. These dudes they're going to be playing with some emotion. They're going to be playing with a lot of adrenaline, playing for their city, playing for the people that lost their lives, lost their homes, lost all their
Right.
possessions. And so I thought that was going to cause them to play with a lot of juice. And it looked like the Rams, especially the Rams defense, from the parts of the game that I saw early, they
Yeah.
were playing with their hair on fire.
Yeah, they were
And
flying around, no doubt about it. They were flying around and getting after it. There's no doubt about that. They came.
on that play,
I actually thought that the Viking defense, after the beginning, played pretty well too. They settled down and
yeah.
played pretty well. But
But
Sammy,
the coach got to call that play, man. Especially when you see your quarterback struggling, like, okay, we just need to get in the field goal range. We shouldn't be dropping back 5 steps. Let's get a quick, 5-yard slant route or something quick and easy. Get back in the field goal range, and try to make it out of the game. But nah, man, Sam Darnold was a deer in headlights,
yeah, he
pretty
was.
much all game.
He made it easier for him. He really did.
He looked like Dak last year in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers. He looked that look was the same.
No doubt.
He didn't
No
know what
doubt.
was doing.
Let's give a quick, before we move on, just give a quick shout out to a couple games we're not going to really discuss today, but you got to give it up for your boy Jaden Daniels, who I told y'all was the best quarterback, and I ain't going to even say it. I told y'all he was the best quarterback in that draft, but got his first playoff win, you know what I'm saying, as an underdog, did his thing, you know what I'm saying. Any quick thoughts on that one? Jaden Daniels pulling it off against Baker Mayfield.
Poised. He's a poised QB beyond his year. He does not play like a rookie down the stretch in close games. That's good to see.
All right, man. Okay.
The Commanders got the right
develop.
But a quick note on that, yeah. After the game, your boy Bobby Wagner picked up the fumble that Baker dropped and him on the end around or whatever. And at the end of the game, the lady was interviewing him, all hyped up, telling him, what about Bobby making that big play? She asked Jaden about it. He said, Well, he just all he did was pick up the ball.
Oh yeah, I
That's the
saw
kind
that.
of
I
cat
saw
that
that.
he is. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't getting all hyper. You know what I'm saying? Even in the moment, he wasn't hyper. You know what I'm saying? He like, well, he just picked up the ball. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that to me kind of exemplifies who he is. He's just a calm dude. You know what I'm saying? And it shows in them big moments. You know what I'm saying? Do I give him a chance next week? We'll get into that Friday, but it might be an upset pick. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tease it. It might be the upset of the week pick. We'll
A
see.
big difference in drafting McDaniels and Richardson, Colts. Big difference.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And of course, the other game, the other rookie game, Bo Nix, after his initial touchdown, they get throttled by Buffalo, which I think we all knew was going to happen. I think we all kind of said that was going to happen, especially if Denver's defense couldn't hold them at bay. We knew that could get out of hand. So, any quick thoughts on that one?
That might
I
be
mean,
the. Go ahead.
the game turned on that 4th and 1, and which I thought that was out of bounds. I mean, I seen the ball move, his knee hit out of bounds. But I think prior to that it was like 13-7, 10-7 or something like that.
Yeah, 10-7, I
So
think.
that's when the game changed, right? There was 4th and 1. And had they not converted that, the Broncos get the ball and they get a chance to try to take the lead or tie it up. Or
Yeah,
take the lead.
The
right.
only thing I want to say is I hope that a non-competitive game right before their biggest game against coming up against the Ravens does not affect them in a negative way, because the Broncos had nothing for them on either side of the ball all game.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. So let's move on to the next topic, man. Steelers, Ravens, man. 28-14. Ravens win, of course. Lamar throws for $175, 16 for 21. Nice and efficient. Derrick Henry,
175? Ooh.
yeah, 175, two TDs, no picks. Derrick Henry, 26
81 yards rushing.
186 yards. Lamar chipped in another 81 yards. They rushed for 298 yards on 50 carries to beat the Steelers. Russ didn't play terribly, you know what I'm saying? 20 for 29, 270 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. But the Steelers, of course, had no run game to speak of at all. But speaking of the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, 5-6 playoff losses in a row in the first round. Can't seem to get the Steelers over the hump. It's been a minute since he won that one Super Bowl and went to that second one. And I know it's blasphemous as black men to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, G. Is your boy Mike Tomlin just overrated at this point, bro?
I want Jared to comment first, because he picked
Okay.
the damn Steelers.
He did, bro. You're right. He did. He did. He
All
did.
season.
And did it with his chest. Said it with his chest out.
And when you asked him what was his reasoning, what did he say?
Coaching.
Mike Tomlin. I believe in Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin ain't out there tackling nobody. He ain't throwing no passes. He ain't catching no balls.
Do you want me to talk or not? That's what I want to know. You want me to talk? Or not? Okay, all right. So I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
Understatement of the year.
the Steelers had nothing. I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. I did not think that they would come out there and play like they did in the last game versus the Ravens. I honestly thought that Mike Tomlin would get this team going and they would win the game in a close game, just like they did in the first meeting during the regular season. That's what I thought I was going to see. But there's a lot of contributing factors. Yeah, let's go number one, Tomlin. Coaching was bad. Their game plan was at times it looked like their game plan was to stop Henry, and that never manifested itself. JJ I mean not JJ, but TJ Watt was going down the line after Derrick Henry damn near every time on the fake pitch or the fake handoff. I mean, he was going hard down the line.
It seemed like
They
that was
had
the game plan, though.
and yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I couldn't tell what angle they were trying to approach the game on defense, which was supposed to be their strong point on this team. They looked like they
Told you
didn't
they
have
was
a
mid. He told you that defense was mid.
they looked like they didn't have a clue where the ball was, who had it, and the Ravens broke their will. I mean, they broke their will completely.
Okay, but now way to try not to answer the question, though. It was a yes or no question. Is Mike Tomlin ass overrated?
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Of the other contributing factors was the offense. On the offensive end, they had nothing. Pickens is a talented receiver, but he chooses when to play. He pouts a lot. He doesn't give full effort all the time. He wants everybody to know that he's pissed. You know, he's a me guy. But after Pickens, what else do they have? The run game never manifested itself in the game. So a lot of contributing factors. But yeah, we'll start at Mike Tomlin at the top. Is he overrated? I'm not going to call Mike Tomlin, a former Super Bowl champion, a coach that has gotten his team into the playoffs damn near every year. They're getting booted in the first round, but I mean, I go back to all the years the 2 or 3 years they held on to being too long with absolutely no run game. You know, they had the situation with the running back holding out for a year. So there's a lot of contributing factors into them not being able to have success in the playoffs. But I'm not gonna call this man overrated. He's and one of the tales to me is if he's let go by the Steelers, he'll be picked up. If he still wants to coach, he'll be picked up immediately. So no, he's not overrated. I look at this season in its totality as they finally got a quarterback. No matter how you want to judge Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson is a decent quarterback. He's definitely better than Justin Fields to me. They need to get some weapons, and they need to fix what's going on with the line and get back to playing Steeler football. But they're going to have to get some weapons in order to be more dynamic on offense because the offense was turned out to be putrid. They only had 1 or 2 really, really good offensive games, and it showed they couldn't lean on the defense all the way. But no, he's not overrated to me.
Before I go to Greg and let Greg answer, my question for you is, what's the standard in Pittsburgh now? Because it seems to be, if you're asking me, the standard is just don't have a losing season, but we know we ain't winning no Super Bowl.
No, I would. No, I can't rest it on that. They fortunately for Mike Tomlin, fortunate for him, for Mike Tomlin, he plays with a franchise that believes in maintaining some type of continuity as far as who's running the ship. So they leave their full faith and confidence in Tomlin to lead the team. And at some point, we got to start appreciating that. You know, the Utah Jazz, to go for an NBA symbolism, they did it for years with Sloan and keeping and holding on to their Hall of Fame players and Stockton and Malone as the key pieces on that team. Tomlin has been a mainstay. I appreciate that fact. We know what to expect with this team. He has kept that defense at the top of the league for most of the years he's been there. He did get him a Super Bowl. Having a winning season for all of those consecutive years does mean something.
Greg,
so they are winners. I'll put it like that. I'll say winning. You know, they are a winning team, so I'll say that they care about winning and continuity.
He just said we know what to expect, G. To me, that's the problem. So is he overrated, G? That's the problem now. We do know what to expect.
Well, first and foremost, let's give a round of applause to Mike Tomlin's long lost half brother, Jerry Tomlin, for that eloquent soliloquy about nothing.
About nothing.
Mike Tomlin is overrated. Now, I'm expecting a full throated defense of who he thought was the best. Apparently, his coaching was going to overcome that mid ass team. Yeah, he's overrated. Here's the reason why. Any coach, any franchise that is 3-9 in your last 12 playoff games, that coach would have probably been fired by now. Now, I'm going to give a lot of that credence to, we talked about this last week, the Steelers, and black coaches, whether Steelers with their coaches, they will, stick by their coach. And that's okay. If that's what, your culture is, and by all means, I'm not saying he should be fired. But long gone are the days where we have to just, give Mike Tomlin the benefit of the doubt.
Man,
as far what I'm saying? Because he's not that, man. We've seen a bunch of mid Steelers teams for a while now. You mentioned Jerry Tomlin mentioned that they kept Ben Roethlisberger for far too long. Well, he was the only thing they had. Now was that Mike Tomlin not scouting the right players, because he ended up bringing in Mason Rudolph and who else he brought in? He brought in a couple of bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is the Rooney family. The Rooney family had a lot to do with them keeping and holding on to Ben for all those years.
And when you have a quarterback like that, you have to, that's every franchise is going to, when you have
it's hard for any of them to get rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
Yeah, some of them do, like the sis ass 49ers did with Joe Montana. But a lot of them
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
I mean, that's just for NBA.
But we did have a backup plan, bro.
Well, y'all did have a backup plan. Y'all came with Steve Young. Y'all had him in house. You know what I'm saying? And it
right,
wasn't
that's
like,
what I'm saying. Right.
Had him in house. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, we've seen a bunch of mid-ass Steelers teams. I think he's still a good coach, but he's getting a lot of mileage out of that one title and that Super Bowl appearance. I think what it is, and where a lot of people put him on that pedestal, you know what I'm saying, right below who right now is the best coach, Andy Reid, and when Belichick was there, right below Belichick, is the fact that he talks a good game. He sounds and looks the part of a good coach.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I enjoy the fact that he's a black guy looking like Omar Epps. But, when you look at the product on the field, he ain't that. So, yeah, overrated like a motherfucker.
Damn, this was a hard one for me, man. Because I like Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying?
We all like Mike. We like Mike.
Like Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? But damn, Mike. He always yelling the standard is the standard. What the fuck is the standard then? Because lately the standard is one and done, win 9 or 10 games and lose in the first round. And that's just the product that you're putting out there. Now, the only pushback only credit I give Jerry maybe in his argument is I don't know who picking the groceries in that setup. Is he just the coach and then the front office people? I'm sure he has input.
Yeah, he's definitely involved, because I've heard him.
Right. Who picked Kenny Pickett? You know what I'm saying?
See, that's what I was going to mention. I've heard him in conversations on how they used to go. Kenny Pickett played for the University of Pittsburgh,
right?
And I've heard them talk about how they, that they have been following him since high school. He's from the area and all that stuff. So.
To me,
he's a part of it.
To me, that's a strike against him. Then, if that you were a part of that evaluation process, all that goes into it. Then, to me, I'm not going to say he's overrated. What I will say, I do think it's time for the Steelers to make a change. I know Greg say he ain't calling for him to be fired. I am calling for both of them to part ways. I think it would be time. I'm with you, Jerry. Somebody else will pick him up right away. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who need a culture. Say, I don't know, Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
He wouldn't dare
We'll
go
talk
play for
about
them.
that. We'll talk about that. I wouldn't dare want him to come to Dallas. Not because he ain't a good coach, but I don't want to see what Jerry would do to him.
Yeah. But I don't think
We'll
he's
get into
overrated.
that.
But I think it's time for the Steelers to move on, though. We've seen enough years in a row. You know, it wouldn't be like we talked about last week, like one of those situations where I think somebody was done unfairly, like we talked about your boy Pierce and Mayo last week. This is a situation if the Steelers choose to move on in this situation, I really wouldn't have anything to say about it. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been a mid-tier ass team for a while now. And maybe you need a new voice to get them over that hump. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have a problem with it if they moved on. I think he's the good coach. I wouldn't call him overrated at this point.
They ain't even mid no more. They Reggie.
But I'm with Jared, though. You can't be overrated and having winning seasons every year. You do
Shout
it.
out to the Rooney family.
Overrated.
Because if it was that easy, then everybody would do it. And
You
so
can be overrated. There's a difference in saying that you're not a good coach and that you're overrated. Overrated means that you're rated higher than what you should be rated.
but it depends on where you think people have him rated. Where do you think people have him rated?
I think people have him rated right below you know what I'm saying, Andy Reid.
Okay, so who else would be there then? If not him, who would be there?
Right now, Dan Campbell. Kyle Shanahan would be. Shanahan is putting
with Dan Campbell, you doing the same thing you say you don't like us doing with QBs.
Well, no, let me show you. Let me tell you the difference. The last 3 years, we saw Dan Campbell take over a team. Now, they didn't make the playoffs that 3 years ago, but you can see the improvement from when they was the year before. The year after, last year, they were in the NFC title game. And there's some things that, but that he does that may have cost his team, but he's a better coach right now than Mike Tomlin. He got
better talent. He got better talent than Mike Tomlin.
That could be said too, but at the same time, then who's cooking that recipe?
Right, I agree.
I think Dan Campbell got a big hand in making that recipe. I think Kyle Shanahan is better than Mike Tomlin at this point in time.
I wanted to. I was interested in seeing what Cowher and Bradshaw had to say, so I went back to see what they were saying.
I've been a Tomlin hater though.
Yeah. Terry was on that same thing, saying it's time for them to move on. The Steelers hadn't, but Cowher didn't. I don't remember him saying it's time to move on, but he just talked about the fact that this is not resembling of the Steelers of past and things like that. So, I know Steeler Nation is hurting, but I shout out to the Rooney family for keeping the continuity and keeping this coach there that long. If they keep him, I think next year is probably the year they can get some offensive weapons, tighten up on that defense. I think they can make some noise because they at least have a quarterback that's competent, but he definitely didn't have a whole lot to work with this year.
Yeah, and you could tell they kind of knew it coming into the year because they tried hard to get a second wide receiver, to get a true number one receiver. So you could tell they knew they needed more. They just couldn't get it. So that would kind of, with me, I think they're gonna keep him. I really do, and let him run it back one more time with Russ. I think as Russ at the QB, and I think they're going to try to find some offensive weapons and try one more time to see if he can get past the first round. But I think if he does the same thing next year, he will be let go next year though.
And then we gotta applaud the other side of this coin, and that's the Ravens on the way that they played. Yep. They definitely broke that team. I was surprised to see that there was only 175 yards that your boy threw for Lamar. That's surprising to me, but he did a lot of running early, and then they did a hell of a lot more running late. I'm not sure. I'll put it like this. What he did in the game against the Steelers in this last game, it was perfect for what they did to break the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? It
his
wasn't
running early set the tone for that game for real.
exactly. And when he did throw, he was mostly throwing to open people. I've been saying that all year, that the threat of the run from Henry was giving him, open looks to receivers. But he played a perfect balance, even though he didn't throw for a lot of yards. Now, whether that gets them prepared for this game against Buffalo, I think they're gonna beat Buffalo, but or I don't know if that's the recipe. Listen, they are 9-0 when King Henry runs the ball more than 20 sometimes. They are 9-0. And 7 of those games, I think, was against playoff contender teams or whatever, or teams above 500, the better teams in the league. So that says something. So their recipe
they definitely have a formula. I think that can help get them there. But we'll kind of get into that on Friday when we go with them and the Bills. Let's move to this next one. Protect this house, and we did, and we did. Them Houston Texans, who I got back on the bandwagon, told y'all they would get this W. I think Greg said they would get the W as well. I think Jerry, I believe you picked the Chargers.
I went with the old ball coach.
I believe you went with the ball coach. C.J. Stroud still looked a little shaky at some points, but after that, the fumble snap, he kind of got it together. After that play, I think really changed the momentum of the game when he made that play when the snap went over his head, picked it up, threw for the first down. Joe Mixon had a nice game, over 100 yards. Nico Collins had 122 yards. But let's talk about the Chargers, man, and specifically your boy, Justin Herbert. He, of the 4 interceptions, which was more than he had thrown all year, he threw only 3 during the whole season, threw 4 in this game. They seem a little bit cursed when it comes to QBs, but with Justin Herbert in particular, I know you got a strong position on him. Where do you rate him, and is he kind of overrated at this point? What is he? You know what I'm saying? I know you got people who love to say he's like a top 5, 6 QB, and I don't see it either, bro. What say you?
Overrated. Overrated. He again is a quarterback that has been lofted up, has been propped up to be that guy. Now, what that guy is, that's top echelon. That though the guys, the quarterbacks that are that guy, it's only 4 of them. We're talking about elite status. Justin Herbert was put in the elite category. He should be down there with Baker Mayfield. He should be down there with Dak Prescott. He's probably below those guys right now, with the 2 playoff games he's had being with 515 yards. That's a little over 250 yards a game in the two playoff losses. 2 touchdowns. That's a touchdown per. If we're talking about averages, 4 interceptions. We know all 4 of those came in this game. 52% completion percentage. If you below 61, you trash. And a passer rating of 60.7. If I heard you said the Chargers cursed that QB, well, when it comes to the playoffs, they do. Now they have great seasons, but when it comes to winning playoff games and performing well in those games, that hadn't happened for them in quite some time. You know what I'm saying? They had, outside of the year that they got throttled by, the 49ers in, what was that, 95? Who was their quarterback?
Stan Humphrey, I believe.
Stan Humphries, they got throttled in that game.
85-10. I remember.
The games that they won, okay, kudos, but that Super Bowl was trash. Dan Fouts didn't do nothing in the playoffs. He's a Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
Phillip Rivers. That was his, like, I'm rooting for Phillip Rivers because his daddy was my high school coach, Steve Rivers. He was our high school football coach. He was our gym teacher. You know what I'm saying? I remember him being in the gym playing around as a youngster. Justin Herbert. Outside of just the playoff games, there's some of the games that they had because they've only made the playoff twice out of the 5 years, right? Outside of that, in games that they had to play in order to win the playoffs or get in the playoffs, he hadn't performed well in must-win situations. I remember in the playoff game he lost, I think it was last year, he lost to the Prince when the Prince threw 4 first-half interceptions, and they came back and won that. They came back and won that game. The Jags, I'm talking about. Yeah,
27-point lead. 27-point lead.
How you lose that? If you that talented,
it's never been done.
And I get it. He looks the part. He got a strong arm, right? He kind of athletic. He's not.
Can make all the throws. Can make all the throws.
Make all the throws. So you like the quarterbacks that can make all the throws, but will they make all the throws when it's time to make all the throws?
Right.
It's okay to be able to have a laser arm and be able to drop a dime, but when it count, you can't do it. Get out of here, man. Overrated.
Jared, you agree? You concur?
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. Is he Mahomes? No.
We know that.
Is he Lamar? No. Is he Sam Darnold? No. No. So I've never held
this
him
year.
in that. I've never
this
held
year
him in that
same type game.
I've never held him. The game did look like Sam Darnold, I will say, but I've never held him in that top 5, 6 quarterback. I think ability wise, he's a top 10 quarterback for sure. He's a top 10 quarterback ability wise, but let's be for real.
See, that's what he always gets. You know what I'm saying? He gets the ability bump.
Let's be for real.
Jeff George.
Let's be for real. George? And
right.
Everything I'm about to say is
modern day.
It's not. I hope not. It's not an excuse. I'm not giving them an excuse. These are not excuses. But in the past, before Harbaugh, his top 2 receivers were always hurt in and out of the lineups. There's nothing you can say for them other than for that ultimate collapse against the Jaguars. That's just unbelievable. I don't know if it's I don't know if I would say it was all the Jags coming back or just all collapse from the Chargers. You know, it's kind of hard to say, but that was a lead that's never been given up like that before. I can't make him over. I can't say he's overrated because the ability is there. I think this year, and I'll just keep this part short. I think this year, new coach, you finally got a better coach, got y'all to the playoffs. I think they're a year ahead. I think they need to get this man some weapons. No different than Tomlin needs to get Russell Wilson some weapons. I think more weapons, and they'll be fine.
So what about when he had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler? Did he not have weapons then?
He had weapons, but the continuity was always off because those guys were always hurt. His top receivers were always hurt. Always hurt, always missing games. So, or at least, now, we're not watching a whole bunch of Chargers games down here, but I know for sure I've seen a couple of games where they didn't have the top receiver. And then now you're looking at the top receiver as McConkley or whatever. Like, that's your best? He's the best on the team? Who's the number 2? Who's the number 3? We don't even know who those guys are, for real. They were trying to be a run-first team. So got to get him some weapons. Get him some weapons, and he'll be able to play better. So I can't judge him. I'm not judging him on this 1 year. I just like his ability. I think he has what it takes to be a quarterback. He has to have weapons availability.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Like, to me, the overrated question is about where you have him rated. To me, he middle of the pack. You know what I'm saying? He in that mix, like Greg said, with Baker. Like I said, maybe even below Baker, but in that group from 15 to or 12 to 18, mix it up. You know what I'm saying? He in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But he's not. He's definitely not top 6.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, for sure. I've never
But
thought he was.
that's the
I've never thought he was that. And then for the Lamar Jackson fans of the world to try to come down and say, "Oh, it's not," they don't give him the same grace. Lamar Jackson don't get the same grade. Why would you want to bring Lamar Jackson down to the level of this kid? And I know the analysts get on TV and they say that all the time or whatever. I'm not trying to give him any kind of special excuses or allowances or nothing. I'm just going by what I saw. I even told you, G, that I felt like out of those 4 interceptions, to be honest, 2 or 3 hit the receiver in the hands. So the receiver got to catch that. And then when you talk about that, that tight end, the tight end play that went back to the house. I mean, that's totally on him. So,
Will
I
Disley.
just can't put it all on him.
Yeah, we get that there's tip balls, but the only one that wasn't really his fault was the Disley one, and that's the one that got housed. But the one he threw to McConkey, that was his fault. The
right.
one that Lassiter picked off, that was his fault.
No. The other receiver, I forget his number. It went in slow motion. It went right through his hands, not the tight end on the left side. I mean, on the right hash. It went right through his hand, right through. That's not on him. That wasn't the McConkey one. That wasn't the McConkey. That was the other receiver. I want to say, was it number 3? I can't remember.
I don't know. We got to move though, fellas, to the next game, man. Eagles, Packers. Pack made Jordan Love look bad, but I think we all picked the Eagles. Though I don't think none of us picked the Pack, so I don't think none of us were Pack believers anyway. But I guess the question for me is, your boy Jalen and that passing offense got your boy on the sideline reading a book because you could tell he was frustrated, even though he came out after the game and said it wasn't about that or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll take him at his word, even though I don't believe it, but okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, can they survive with that struggling ass passing offense and Jalen Hurts having to be reined in so much when it comes to the passing game? Is that a recipe for getting to the Super Bowl? Jerry?
Man, listen, they have to do better in the passing game. They have to do better in the passing game. I've said it a bunch of times. I don't know what it is with Jalen Hurts. Y'all keep saying that, they're not calling passing plays like that because Saquon is so dynamic. But 3 targets to your top receiver all game, 1 catch, that's a bit too much. Now he's being immature, picking up the book on the sideline or whatever, and bullshitting with the media about why he has the book and he has it all the time or whatever. That's a bunch of bullshit. That to me, that's unprofessional. He shouldn't be doing that. The reason he has the book is to show that he's disgruntled, right? That's what he's doing. That's passive aggressive. That's what that is. That's that LeBron James. But yeah, Jalen. So I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I'm not saying that because the reason I say it is because early in the season I just saw him throwing passes. He was throwing right to the defense. He was throwing even in the first game of the season. He threw a pick, but it got called back or whatever. But he was throwing it right to the defense. And when you look at it slow motion, like, why are you throwing it there? Why in the world are you throwing it there? It's just like Love's last pass, throwing it a deep ball into triple coverage. That was crazy. So they got to do something about that. Saquon is very dynamic, and the run game has worked for them, and the defense has been the best over the last half of the season. But they are going to have to balance the offense out. They got to. I don't think they can win a championship with Jalen playing like this. I don't know if it's injury or what, confidence. I don't know what it is, but they're going to need him to be. I think in order for them to win the Super Bowl with the defense playing as well as they are, and Saquon running as well as he is, they need the old Jalen to return in order for them to get balance.
G, what you thinking, bro?
I think it's much ado about nothing. The Eagles
Nothing.
needed to win. I think they started to throttle it down and be, because he started out 6 for 6 with a touchdown. They saw that now I think most of it is coming from the second quarter. They weren't able to complete any passes. He only threw 21 passes.
Right.
Between him being 6 and 6, I think he missed his next 7 passes. It was like he ended up being 6 for 13, and then he hit his next 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9 or something to that effect. No, they're not going for a lot of yards, but when you look at that game, they was throwing, they had too high and they had a little shell coverage going on. It wasn't a lot of people open. So, you know what I'm saying? He, instead of throwing in the tight windows in a game in which their defense had to pack down, I think Jalen did what he needed to do to get the win. If the defense playing like that, you don't have to take a lot of chances. You don't have to force a lot of throws. Be careful with what you got. If their defense come to play and they can run the ball, which they have a great offensive line, there will be openings for Jalen to hit. He might not throw for 400 yards, 300 yards. He might have a game where he had to throw for 250. Right. You know what I'm saying? And do he have the capability of doing so? We've seen it. Yes, he does. He has the capability of, you know what I'm saying, having some turnovers. In that game, it was caused to not give the pack a short field. And he did exactly what he needed to do. His rating was 111, 13 for 21 on 13 completions on 21 attempts, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Great job, Jalen.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between y'all. I think there will be games where he's going to have to do more, but I think there is a formula for them, just like there's a formula for the Ravens. Saquon is the formula. You know what I'm saying? And when he need to make a home run ball, throw it up there to AJ. AJ just going to have to get over it, bro. You know what I'm saying? This offense is not going to revolve around him anymore and throwing the football. That's just not what they are now. And I think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl because of their defense. And nobody really talking about it, but their defense is excellent. You know what I'm saying? This year. You know what I'm saying? So why would you put the ball in the air 50 times? It doesn't make sense. A.J. Brown just going to have to get over himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the main focus of the offense anymore. And so, to me, play this way. Let Jalen do what he need to do. If he need to complete only 13 passes for them to keep winning, keep doing that. You know what I'm saying?
No picks.
Right, and no picks. Right, that's what I'm saying. Because that's what'll kill the Eagles.
If he put the ball in harm's way at all.
Right. Turnovers is what'll kill them. Their defense is going to keep them in every single game. I don't see a team left in the NFC. Maybe Detroit can get away from you at times if they get to rolling, but other than that, I don't see anybody running away from them in a game. You know what I'm saying? So to me, keep doing what you hand the ball off to Saquon.
I think, and great points, G, with the numbers, but I'm looking at it as the eye test, and I've been saying it all year. The eye test, something is not jiving, whether it's and I've even mentioned this in the past, is that it looks like Sirianni doesn't have the confidence in the offense to go to the passing game sometimes. So that's the thing that I'm talking about. It just looks off. It just looks off.
Yeah. To me, that's all about A.J. Brown, though.
And
if all the bullshit hadn't came out with A.J. Brown, I don't think anybody would even be talking about it, for real.
Oh, no,
bro. Nobody would even care because they win in football games. But we care now because A.J. Brown made it a thing. So now, and said, what's wrong? Passing. And now it's been a narrative ever since that. It wasn't a narrative before that.
So I was going to ask G, if you go back to, the years when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls, what would Michael Irvin say if he only got 3 targets in a game when he felt like he was getting open, even if they were winning? Even if they were winning, you're still gonna be wondering, because it looks like the offense is unbalanced when like in that game, it looked like the offense was unbalanced. I know the numbers said different, and with the way G broke it down, but when you're watching the flow of the game, it often looks like, man, they can't pass the ball, or they can't do this, or they can't do that,
Damn, man,
even though they winning.
Narrative.
That was really that's their second quarter, midway through the third quarter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's really all it was. Like I said, he started out 6 for 6, and he missed his next 7. It was next 7 passes, but it wasn't where he was. You know, he was off target. He did hold on the ball a little bit long.
I remember like one that he dirted. He dirted one. You know what I'm saying? But that was about it. You know what I'm saying?
He had
It
one on
looked
the
like he
screen
was
pass.
trying not to turn the ball over.
He had one on the screen pass where he got pressure early and got hit, and he threw it, and it fell at the guy's feet. But if you go back and look at it, I was watching First Take yesterday. Shout out to Dan Orlovsky, who pointed out that when he went back and looked at the film, there wasn't nobody open. Now there will be people, coming open once the play started to break down, but once you start running, you know what I'm saying, your vision is only on one side of the field. You know what I'm saying? Or it would look like the player was open, but he wasn't done running his route. So, it's again, I just think it's like Dante said, it's a bit of much to do about nothing. It wouldn't be a situation had AJ Brown not done what he done a few weeks ago.
Right. So last, yes or no? Will it keep him from making the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Not if their defense can. It can. I mean, anytime you have if you needed to pass the ball and you can't pass, you throw for 100 and some yards. You know what I'm saying? And you need 200 and some yards, and they stopping the run. So yeah, that could happen to anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
The way that they're playing is to not turn the ball over, feed Saquon, and hit the big plays when they're there.
So by today's standards, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing old school football. Now,
yes,
I'm
old school football with a new school twist with that RPO game.
I'm a fan of old school football,
that's
low
winning.
scoring games and defensive struggles. I'm a fan of that. That's real football to me. But at the same time, the offense needs to look balanced. Even if if you're getting 130 plus rushing yards from your running back, okay, cool, but still have more balance in the offense and not look off. It looks off. And
suck it more,
just
even
three targets for your top
it up more,
receiver.
even if you risk losing, chuck it up more. Okay, all right,
no,
that makes no sense to me. But all right, let's move on to your boy down in Dallas, Jerry, whatever his middle name is, Jones. Did he just screw over Mike McCarthy with that bullshit he just did, bro? Held on to his little window of negotiating. I think it ends today.
Y'all should come to me on this one.
We coming. We coming.
I'm supposed to go first. I'm supposed to lead this.
Hey, have at it, bro. Because I believe they screwed your boy over. But go ahead, bro.
Hell yeah, they screwed him over, man. This is nothing, just another case of the fucked up narcissistic behavior of the stupid ass owner. Is all this is. This is just another example in a long line of evidence that this guy is getting senile, or what they call the old men when they what's that word I'm looking for, when they just stubborn as hell, they've set in their ways. Damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Cantankerous. Cantankerous. This motherfucker, you see what he did to Cooper Rush?
What?
I remember that. Oh, y'all don't know? All right, so he had incentive, and most of his contracts have a lot of incentives on it. So he had incentive if he played a number of snaps, he would get a $500.
He played Trey Lance, yeah.
He played Trey Lance.
Damn.
And kept him out of it. And kept him out of his incentive.
Start.
How much was it? How much was it?
$500K.
Damn, Jerry.
And then lied about it.
Lied. just another example, just this year, delayed signing CD, delayed that. Man, if you wasn't gonna sign him, man, let that man interview for the Bears. It ain't like we was just, you know what I'm saying? Mike McCarthy's a good coach, but okay, if you wanted to let him go, just let him go. It wasn't gonna do nothing different than what we've already done all season and the last few seasons. Fuck up contracts. I'm tired of it, man. Yeah, he should have let Mike McCarthy go ahead and do his thing. If Jerry Jones wants to continue running this shop the way that he's running, he's gonna get the same result year after year. He ain't in it for, to me, he say, and I said this earlier this season when he said that we was all in. He was all in. It sounds like you all in on trying to maximize your pockets.
Right.
And the hell with you.
So I got no need to ask you the next question. Do you think he have a plan?
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
To find somebody else to be his laughing boy.
Oh, so we definitely don't think that's gonna be Dion then.
He trying to find out if Dion will do just that, do his bidding. He definitely doing that. He that's what he talking to him. He talking to him, but what he's trying to find out is if, is he gonna have any problems with the way that he runs the team.
Yeah. Jerry, your thoughts on the Cowgirls?
Fuck you.
Yeah. Jared Jones is into being in the tabloids, being in the headlines. He's into drawing any type of attention to this team. He's into doing things the way he wants to do it. It's almost like he watches and listens to what the media is saying, and then he goes against it on purpose. All of the media around the time when the Bears were asking to talk to Mike McCarthy, everybody was saying, okay, now if he denies him the opportunity to talk to the Bears, then that must mean that he's going to keep Mike McCarthy, right? I'm going to tell you when I knew or when I felt like Mike McCarthy was going to be out of there. It was when Dak Prescott spoke up in defense of Mike McCarthy, saying that he would like to see Mike McCarthy come back as coach, and he would like to see him have more control over bringing in the necessary pieces for this team. When he spoke up for Mike McCarthy in that moment, I kind of felt like Jerry Jones is going to show him, like, no, this is my ship. I run it how I want to run it. The only people that's going to be here are the people that I want to be here. Now, I gave you your money, then you shut up and you do what I say do. That's Jerry Jones to a T. Yeah, I think for sure the older he gets, the worse this thing is. Because to hold on to hold out the contract talks with Zach, with Dakota and CJ, it made no sense. It made no sense for you to hold on to them and then pay them top dollar. When you could have paid them less. The whole thing about the NFL right now is to try to win with your quarterback in-house and not with a crazy salary. But you can't tell if you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah, he's not about winning. I've said that for years and years and years. This man is not trying to win a Super Bowl. He's just trying to have it. He just wants to have his way. Not trying. He's just having his way. And he's doing whatever he wants to do without any rhyme or reason other than he wants to do it. Senility, I would point to that. He's too old to be doing this. Why give your son the job if you're not going to let him do the job? And he's micromanaging the whole thing. Y'all said it was nothing when he was leading the team into the damn into the locker room at halftime. I was like, man, we ain't never seen that shit like that. That's crazy. The owner, and ain't nobody saying shit. The whole team quiet behind him. Man, that shit looked like elementary 3 and 4 year, 5 and 6-year-old class cut up at PE, and the teacher got mad and said, "I don't want to hear no noise in the hall" when they on their way back to the classroom. That's what it looked like to me. So, yeah, man, it's all bad in Dallas. It'll be the same thing this coming year. And
I've been
Dion, to
told.
me, Dion would be foolish if he agrees to sign up for that crazy shit.
Yeah, I can't really argue with nothing y'all saying. There's not much to add, man. The Cowboys, man, I'm not sure what his plan is. I think he's flying by the seat of his pants right now. Looking for a big, I think he's looking for a big name. He wants the next hire to be a splash, like you say, to keep him on the front page, to keep every show in the morning talking about him, which they will. If they hire Dion, they damn sure will. For the next 6 months, Cowboys will get play. And it's going to be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad for Mike McCarthy. It looks like the Bears waited to still interview him. Looks like they might want him to be their next coach to work with your boy. We'll see if that works. But yeah, Jerry, man, it's a bad look to me for him, especially now knowing what you just said about Cooper Rush. It seems like he's pouting at this point. The owner's kind of pouting about not getting the Super Bowl he thought he was going to get. And I think he's getting to the realization that is over in his lifetime for the Cowboys getting the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And I think he coming to that realization, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of stings a little bit. So he's acting out a little bit right now. But yeah, Mike McCarthy, good luck, bro. You should feel good getting the fuck up out of there, up under his ass. And I can't wait to hear what it really happened behind closed door on why he would do that to Mike McCarthy. Because it seemed like they had a good relationship. Something went wrong somewhere that we don't know about yet. I can't wait.
Mike McCarthy probably wanted to leave. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
That's the
something
first thing that
happened.
came to mind.
Yeah, something that happened that broke down that relationship to make him do that to the man.
Mike wanted to leave. He wanted.
Yeah, I think he wants to go to the Bears. He wants to go, and that probably why he did it like that. That
right.
Mike McCarthy's agent had to have given that information to Jerry before it even happened and let him know that Mike McCarthy was interested.
Right.
He acted out, told him if they couldn't talk to him just because he's pissed that Mike was interested in and wanted to talk to him. That's what it is. That's got to be it. That's the only thing that makes sense.
That's the only thing that do make a little sense. You know what I'm saying? But
that's the only thing that makes sense. And then Mike McCarthy will still get this job that he wants, and he'll get to be a real head coach.
About this man doing anything. Before we leave, I just wanted to say one thing. Before we get up off this conversation. Fuck Jerry Jones.
Let's switch gears, man, to the association. First of all, before we get into the topic, shout out to motherfucking San Antonio Spurs who whooped up on the Lakers' asses last night with a 37-point fourth quarter to come back and whoop the Lakers' ass. Shout out, Wemby.
That's the first time they beat the Lakers all season?
I don't give a fuck. They won last night, goddammit. That's all I care about. That's all I give a shit about. They won last night, whooping the Lakers' ass. So good job, Wemby. Good, still taking too many damn threes, but I can take 6. That's all right. But let's get into it, Jerry. Your favorite goddamn squad, the fucking Milwaukee Bucks. Don't know why you so fucking high on this team. They the Steelers of the NBA. Mid as fuck.
Damn.
They mid as fuck, dog. I think, Greg, you had a great stat about them. What'd you say? 0-8 versus the top
0-8 against the top 3 teams in the East. That's the Cavs,
0-8,
Celtics, and the Knicks.
0-8. So you still think they contenders in the East, Jerry? Explain yourself, bro. Make it make sense.
The Bucks are one move away from being contenders in the
okay. Now they need a move. Okay.
Yeah, they need to make a move. Right now they're dealing with injuries, people in and out of the lineup. They keep they're low managing Giannis. Dame has I think a calf injury or something like that he's dealing with, so he's been in and out of the lineup. Trent Jr. is hurt right now. They actually just had a really good game out of Middleton for the first time in a while. He had a good game. I think he put up like 17 points or whatever. But they don't have. They're missing some key pieces off the bench. The bench is null and void. They're trying to use Trent Jr. As the sixth man, so to speak. But it's wonky because he's not a point guard. They don't have a backup point guard on the roster right now. So they need to make some moves. I think they're one move away. Middleton looks like he's coming along, but again, they're bringing him in and out of the lineup. They've moved him to the bench, back to the starting lineup, back to the bench. So continuity is not there. I just look at the Bucks like this, man. Giannis is a generational talent. You have another 75 greatest player in Damian Lillard, whether you guys believe he's that or not. They finally started to play better together. So yeah, they need one or two pieces to bring it all in tow. Are they contenders as is? No. I will admit that. They are not contenders as is. They need to make some type of moves by the trade deadline and see if they can keep the thing rolling but they've climbed up into the top, six? And I think that's where they'll stay. They'll stay in that top 4 or 5 range, I believe. But contenders, no, not anymore.
Greg?
What y'all remember what I said about the Bucks? What type of problem they had? Y'all remember when I said that they have a roster problem?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing with you.
You finally come to that conclusion. They need one or two more pieces. Chris Middleton ain't what he was. And that was what they needed. They needed Chris Middleton to get back. They absolutely missing Drew Holiday, who they traded and got Dame Lillard for, who is just terrible on defense.
Awful.
Brunson ate his ass up for like 44 points. I know it wasn't all on him, but because they have to switch Dame off of him, and teams are constantly hunting whoever he guarding, him by whoever he guarding, putting him in pick and roll. It forces their defense to suffer. And then when
Payne had like 17, 18 in that game.
Then when you got Brook Lopez, who can't defend the pick and roll, I don't know why they're continuing to hold on to him. They could have got up off of Brook Lopez. I know he can shoot from the outside and
block shots. Yeah,
and block shots.
3 and D.
At 7'12".
That's his job. That's his job. That's 3 and D.
3 and D guys are perimeter defenders, sir.
His role is 3 and D. Shoot threes to keep the floor spread and to defend the paint. And that's what he's done. He's been one of the best at it over the last couple of years. What are you talking about?
Hey man,
he's a perfect piece in their team.
Well,
he's a perfect piece.
But he's one of the reasons why their defense suck. He can defend at the rim, but when they drag his ass out, because majority of the league is playing outside, what the block shot's gonna do for you?
Listen.
What those block shots?
Listen, Lopez.
They dragging his big, lanky, slow ass out to the 3-point line.
Lopez does not go out there like Wemby and Rudy and try to go out there and pretend like he can guard on the perimeter. He plays to contest the shot only. When they come and put in the pick and roll, and you know what that does? Because he got Giannis back there. That's why they play like that. So I would rather have Lopez, who can actually knock down the three, and he's definitely gonna just play for the contest. You know what you're gonna get. You know he's gonna play off and allow
Let me ask you
the
this.
shooter to shoot and contest. You know that he ain't gonna go out there and get crossed over all and all. Right. He's not gonna do that.
What does he do? What does he do? Because they will run his man to
That's
do
a tough shot, dog. Shooting a contested 3 over a 7 foot.
Jerry, so if he don't come outside and they run a Jerry, if the opposing team is running a screen and roll and they're using Brook Lopez's man and he don't come out of the paint, that's called drop coverage. So that's going to leave somebody open, usually the man with the ball, for a jump shot. At least. At the very least, a jump shot, an open jump shot. So I'm not saying that he's not he's a bad defender in the paint, but the teams don't play in the paint. So he becomes a liability because he has to come out. And if he don't come out, he's playing in the paint, leaving the roll guy, well, not the roll guy, but the guy that got the ball open.
Brook is a perfect piece on that team.
He was a perfect piece. They had other defenders that when they could switch out. You know what I'm saying? He was a perfect piece then when they had Drew Holiday. And even then, he still was a liability at times.
I'm through wasting breath on them. I told y'all where they were going to end up. They headed there. They're at 6 now. I told you they was a play-in damn team. That's where the hell they going to end up. You know what I'm saying? Even with Giannis on the team having an MVP caliber year, I'm with Greg. This roster is fucked up. They will not win. Middleton is old. Dame is a liability on defense like y'all been talking about. This team is going nowhere fast. Doc is not that kind of coach. We know what he is. You know what I'm saying? We know he'll blow it in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Did he right the ship a little bit from early on in the year? Sure. But right it to what? They're going to be a play-in team, period, point blank. They're going to overhaul on that roster. Not just they need, I'm with you, Jerry. They need a couple big pieces. They should have never done it. I would have never done the Dame deal. I told y'all that. I wouldn't have gave up Drew Holiday.
Well, they don't have the pieces or the money to do big pieces. They got to find the right pieces.
Right. Because your boy Greek is still your point guard. You know what I'm saying? So what did you really change? You know what I'm saying? By bringing Dame in. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know what I'm saying?
They're playing better. Those two. The whole thing.
But dropping in
offensively, they're playing together. They have to bring in some other defensive pieces to make up and hide Dame because he's a turnstile.
Yeah, you should have kept Drew, got more perimeter shooting. That's what the hell you should have done. And better defenders on the wing. Your team would be better.
I don't mind the Dame trade because they had to boost their offensive capabilities. Yeah, you would have been looking for a lot of people to shoot, and that's where the NBA is going. But they should have been able. Dame has never been known as a good defender, so you needed to get more 3-and-D, younger 3-and-D guys. They went and got what's your guy name that played for the Lakers last year, Taurean Prince. He's older. He's not as good as he used to be. He was never that good.
Solid. He's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you need more. You need more.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew how serious the Middleton injury was and how diminished he would be. He's still a decent player, but he's just not who he was during that championship run.
He doesn't have his defensive capabilities are not there. He can still stretch the floor, but he's not the defender that he was. Either he gets it back after this season or it never comes back at all. Like I told y'all that he had the same surgery as Darren Williams, and we saw how fast Darren Williams was out of the league after that surgery.
Speaking of youth, though, got 3 teams seem to be up and coming in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, I've started watching all 3 of them recently. I've been watching the Rockets a little bit all year since I think we all kind of figured they wanted to see what Ime Udoka could kind of do with them this year. They're second now in the West. The Pistons are a 500 basketball team, or above 500 now, I think. And the Kings are on a 7-game winning streak since your boy took over. So I guess my question is, can any of these teams really, well, the Rockets, we're going to take them out of it, but the Kings and the Pistons, what are you expecting from either one of them, Greg? You thinking, is it sustainable? Or is this just a nice story for halfway through the season where they fall off? Because to me, the
The East
Pistons
is
look
kind of
pretty
weak.
good.
The Pistons are putting together a a a team that can contend for the play-in.
But
that's that's
I mean, when you're talking Pistons,
that's
though,
better than what they've
that's
been though.
something. Right. I was
That's
about to say
better than
that's
what they've
something.
been. They got a competent team. They got, you know what I'm saying, good young players. But you know, if you're talking about competing for a title, we know that's a ways away. You know
Nah.
what I'm saying? So I'm trying to understand exactly what do you mean by, you know, what are they, you
I mean,
know,
can they make the playoffs? It's always,
yeah,
you know, when they come to the NBA, it's always steps. A team don't go from being trash
trash.
to a championship. That don't happen in the NBA.
Well,
Saying,
you know, you have your contenders because everybody's, you know, they contend ain't gonna win the title. But and then, you know, so you that kind of, you know, brings the question into focus a little bit because
can they make the
yeah,
playoffs? Right.
they definitely can make
We know the Rockets will, so it's really about the Pistons and the Kings. We know the Rockets will.
they can make the playoffs. You got the Hawks and the Bulls below them, and the Sixers just outside of the play in. I don't see any of those teams making that much of a push. Maybe the Sixers get in, maybe they don't. It's just they just have a long history this year of just it just not coming together. It's
No,
just not coming together. You know what I'm saying?
Gary, you was prophetic about that one because that shit is not coming together at all.
It's not coming together. The Kings are where they at. It's a mush, a jumble mix of teams that are going to be in that same spot: Lakers, Timberwolves, Kings, Suns,
Yep.
the Warriors, and the Spurs. They all going to fight for 7 through 10.
500 ass teams, right? 41 wins,
Fight for 7
41
through 10.
losses.
So, yeah, they was in it last year. It was surprising that they were as bad as they had been playing. So is it Doug Christie or was it Mike Brown? The problem? But we saw that the Kings. I had mentioned the Kings early in the season as being a team that could take the next step, and so they disappointed to start off. So them getting better is just them rebounding from the piss poor start that they had. Lost all 4 games to the Lakers this year. The Rockets. I think everyone was high on the Rockets uh, at the beginning of the season. Not maybe being the 2 seed. But I think that's a product of the Grizzlies losing Ja for a time being, and then also the Denver Nuggets not playing as well as they had. So I think eventually, by the time we get to the end of the season, they won't be 2.
You said they
They play
won't.
good defense.
You said
Shingun is
you think they won't be 2?
they won't be number 2. I think the Grizzlies overtake them. They ain't but 3 games back. I think they'll end up either 3 or 4 in the West, which is still that's coming from not making the playoffs or even the play-in to being in the top 4 seed in the West.
Jerry, your thoughts?
I agree what he was saying. What he's saying about the Rockets. For some kind of way, he has this team playing defense. They are playing defense. They're flying around. Players are taking ownership. If you want to look deeper, you have Brooks in that starting lineup. We know what his job is in the game. They lost Smith for a time. I'm not sure if he's back. I thought I saw him wearing a brace or something on his hand. I'm not sure. But then you have Adams off the bench. Then you have the Thompson kid off the bench. I forget the kids. I want to say maybe his name is Early. I can't remember, but the kid number 17 off the bench. So they have some guys that Ime Udoka can put into the game specifically for impact on the defensive end of the ball. So in that regard, it's working. He has them playing together on offense. Sengun continues to do continues to play well and at an all-star level. And he has the young kid, Green. He's still an erratic scorer. He's still going to pull. But I think he'll get better with experience as long as he keeps basketball first. And that's one of the reasons why they brought Van Vliet in to help lead that kid into professionalism, even though they keep shopping Van Vliet around every chance they get. So I'm interested to see how high they stay in the rankings. I'm like, I think they're going to fall, anywhere between 3 and 5. I think that you still have to wait the return of Luka. Dallas did that last year when they shot up the rankings last year once Luka came back from injury. So I expect the same this year from the Mavericks. I like the Grizzlies as a healthy team, but Ja is just a snake bait player. I believe that he's not the weight room guy he needs to be yet. He's taking the Allen Iverson approach, it looks like to me, because he hadn't put 1 ounce of muscle on that frame in the years that he's been in the league, and that's a shame when he's missed as many games as he's had. It's not just because of the suspension. He's been injury prone. As far as what the Kings are doing, I have no idea what's going on with the Kings other than that they're winning. So, yeah, we can say that they made the right move because they are playing for Christie. To go on a 7-game win streak with this team, that's pretty big. They got pieces there, but something the jive between Fox was obviously bucking against their former coach Brown. Obviously, that's quite obvious now. So maybe just the Fox, even though he just came back from sitting out a couple of games from injury, maybe that freed them up or just lifted the spirits of the team or got that weight off the team and they're playing better or playing happier basketball. But nah, I don't see them making any noise for real. The Pistons, listen, Motorcade is a good basketball player. I asked the question, I don't know who the hell he's passing the ball to on this team, but he's making it work. He's a triple-double threat type player. I think he's following in the mold of Shea Gilchrist and as far as his game mode. And they're playing better, but they're not going to make no noise. Come on, man. Not when you've been waiting on Tim Hardaway Jr. to come back so he can help spread the floor. So.
Yeah, for me, as far as this topic, man, Pistons and Kings, the only thing this has done is really I'll start paying attention now. Because I'm not going to act like I've seen a lot of Kings games, you know what I'm saying, this year, you know what I'm saying, especially with the way they started the season. So the 7-game winning streak, and now I'll put them back in rotation on my league pass, you know what I'm saying, where I'll actually catch some of the games. I hadn't been paying any much attention to them at all the way they started off the year, you know what I'm saying. I've caught the Pistons twice this year. Wasn't too impressed. I'm with you. Look like Cade and a bunch of dudes, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of cast-offs, you know what I'm saying? But they are making it work. They play defense, you know what I'm saying? They play hard. So obviously that's got some value. Now the Rockets, I have seen a bunch. I disagree with y'all. They'll end second. They'll be second in the West. They're going to be the 2 seed in the West. Because all those teams out West are flawed. Now, I like to watch a lot of Western Conference basketball. All those teams are flawed. Every last one of them. You can go all the way down from 1 through whatever you want to go through. They all got big flaws. You know what I'm saying? Denver, no bench. Health with Memphis. Their 2 top players both get injured. So it's like Clippers, you trust them? Nope. Luka and Kyrie, nope. So it's like, who gonna put together a run that's gonna catch them? You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe any of them will. I don't believe they'll lose enough games. They have enough talent on that young talent on that team where none of those teams I don't think are gonna catch them. You know what I'm saying? So I believe they will be second. Now, what that translates to in the playoffs with their youth, yeah, could they get bounced by a Dallas or a Denver? Absolutely, absolutely. But for the long haul of an NBA season, they'll be second. You're going to have to go to Houston to beat them because they'll have home court advantage in that first round, probably the second round too. So you're going to have to go in there.
They'll lose to any team that be in the play-in except for the Spurs.
You might be right. And you might be right. I'm not even going to disagree with that. But they will be second in the West. You're going to have to go into Houston and steal a game to do it, though. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. You can
I
book
don't
that.
see them.
Wait
I
a
don't
minute.
see
You think whoa. You think the Spurs can beat them if they end up in a play-in fight?
I said any team in the
No, he's
play-in
saying anybody's in the play-in right now.
except the Spurs.
Oh, okay.
Lakers, Minnesota, Sacramento, Phoenix. Well, shit, I don't know about Phoenix. But anyway, I don't know if I agree. Yeah, Phoenix ain't shit. And they that now talk about a roster that's fucked up. That roster is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That roster is completely fucked up, bro.
$408 million.
Right. For bullshit.
$408 million.
You see how your boy Leonard Robinson blamed everybody but KD. Everybody but KD got the blame.
Hey, but man, thank y'all for hanging out with us today on Trash Talking with the Old Head. Hey, we got jobs to get to. Say something to the people, fellas, on the way up out the door.
Hit the
You
like
ain't got
button.
no job, man.
Hit the subscribe button. Check us out. Listen to us. Give the Spotify stuff, G.
Don't worry about the Spotify right now.
Yeah,
make sure you go to that Facebook page, Trash Talking with the Old Heads.
That's what happened when you missed the meeting. That's what happened when you missed the meeting.
And definitely hit that like and subscribe on the YouTube page. We definitely appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. Like Greg said, we trying to get to 100,000. Hit that like and subscribe on the YouTube page. Also, you can definitely join the Facebook page as well. But until Friday, man, we will see y'all on Friday when we preview that NFL division. What is it? Division round? Is this the division round? Is that what they call it?
That is correct, sir. The divisional round.
Round of the playoffs, which should be better games. So we'll see y'all on Friday.
Who the 49ers playing this weekend? I can't remember.
Cowboys.
Who got us playing?
Cowboys. Hey, the coachless ass Cowboys.
Meat watching ass.
We got
Cowboys.
prime, baby. We got prime time coming.
Senile ass owner Cowboys. Dementia.
That was the word I was looking for. Senile. Cantankerous. Fuck Jerry Jones.
Till Friday, man. We are the old heads, man, and we out of here, man.
You raggedy bitch.